everyone, it's Matt here, and we're coming to you from Patches' airplane here on the tarmac at our next destination. I'm here with Peg and Bandit and JC and Belle, who's also on the airplane, and we're here looking for the next cup of God. Hey, did you notice that really smooth landing that Patches did there? That was an amazing landing, and it was really smooth and really nice. And she had to sit down, put on her seatbelts. Hey, let me tell you something Patches told me. She says, a plane just doesn't come in and land on a runway. It doesn't work that way. And she said, what you have to do is you have to keep the airplane straight, and you got to come in at the right speed and the right descent, and you got to keep your eye on exactly where you're trying to be, so there's no mistakes. And then once you get low enough, you gotta, and you get to where you're trying to get, and you're just over the spot you want to be, then you gotta look out towards the end. And she says, and then you just gotta tilt the airplane up a little bit, and then let your power die out, and just let the plane land. She says, I said, so you landed that plane? She goes, Paul, she says, I actually did. She says, if you do it right, the plane will land itself, and it's a whole lot easier. And I got to thinking of something. I want to share that with you. Landing a plane is just like our conversation with people. Or if you're making a plan or a purpose, and you're getting ready to do something about it, that you got to do it like you're landing an airplane. You just don't jump into things. You got to plan it out. You got to make sure you're straight, coming in slow and steady, lined up, so that way you touch that runway just right, so you get off going good. And you know what? And so that way you can come in easy, fly out easy, especially when you're talking to people, because sometimes it's hard to approach people, and especially when you got to talk to them. So you just don't come in, grab and say, hey, we're gonna have words. You gotta plan that landing. You gotta do it right. Sometimes an airplane, they'll make an airplane follow in a circle so high, so that way that they can bring that airplane in at the right time for the right reasons. They just don't say, yeah, you're next. They plan it all out, just like you got to plan out your conversation with people, or you just got to plan out what you're going to be doing with your life. Bring it in easy and gently. That's the best way to do it. I actually rode on a jet airplane one time where a pilot was so good at landing those big jet airplanes that you didn't feel the airplane touch the ground. All of a sudden, you were slowing down because he was that good at touching them wheels to the ground. So, it can be done, but you got to put your mind to it. It doesn't matter if you're fighting depression, anxiety, whatever. You got to have a plan and work on a smooth landing, a smooth approach to your problem, and do it with some finesse. And you don't try to land and solve the problem. The problem, let this problem land itself, and it'll do it gently for you. Hey, this is Matt coming to you, Patches Airplane on the tarmac, with Peg, with Buttons, or not Buttons, but Bandit. Buttons is at home. JC and Bella in the other part of the airplane saying, please be safe, be smart, have a purpose, and let God guide you in that perfect landing for your life.